Shop Epic Gifts says, question, do you think textbook sales will be affected for fall 2020? What is your thinking? So I'm going to give, my general thoughts, and I'll show you exactly, after that I'll talk specifically to what I've seen, obviously now that we're into October, and we're into textbook season, obviously, and then obviously we're moving, into Q4 where sales are still increased, and we have another textbook season off the back end of that, right? So I'll speak to exactly what my thoughts are on it, as well as what I've seen specifically in my business, currently for this season, right? So I honestly don't think that they're going to be affected that much. I get the thought process behind that, and I get that question honestly quite frequently, so I know where you're coming from. And my thought process is like, no, they won't be affected, because ultimately students are still going to need to use textbooks. They're still going to need to reference specific materials like books, right? And if for whatever reason, obviously now we've seen that, this question was asked probably a month or two ago, and I'm just kind of getting to it now, right? But obviously we've seen that students are going back to school, schools are opening again, and even if they weren't, even for the students that aren't going to school physically, the teachers still need to kind of prescribe reading, right? And prescribe textbook and activities in books. So I don't specifically think that regardless of what happens going forward, textbooks will go away, and obviously textbook flipping will be hurt. In fact, I would even venture to assume that they might even increase slightly in demand, because if students don't go, obviously, like I said, we do see that students are kind of going back to school, although some school districts have done half and half, where it's you can come if you want, or you can stay home if you're not comfortable. So what I'm saying is, I would even assume that if that's the case, and if students are from home and they're not going in physically and learning from a teacher in person, chances are the teacher's going to need to use books even more than that, okay? So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I don't see it going away anytime soon, just because of everything going on with the coronavirus. That said, specifically in my business, I honestly haven't seen too much. Initially, for the first week or two of textbook season, it kind of seemed like sales were down slightly, right? But then they kind of picked up, and literally all of the textbooks that I sent in have already been wiped out, right? I don't have any more currently in stock. I actually have about 10, I think, in my basement that I'm waiting to send out. And I think I have, I don't know, a dozen or two, maybe a dozen to 20 books on the way into my inventory. So I'm restocking now, and then obviously I'm going to replenish my inventory, so that hopefully they sell throughout, the end of Q4 and then into textbook season right now. So I'm currently stocking up my inventory yet again, and then I'm going to ship it into FBA, and I'm just going to be patient and let them all sell, right? I made significant money, obviously flipping all the books already that I have, but ultimately, books is just one way that you can make money reselling. Obviously, I recommend it, especially right now, in the time period that we're currently in, and then into textbook season into the end of January and February after Q4. But that said, if you're not into textbook, there's a million ways to make money flipping products online. You can check out the free case study that's linked down in the description that will cover the top 6 ways that I recommend that you do that as well. On top of that, if you guys are interested, if you go to brianguerra.com/courses, if you're just interested in learning how to flip textbooks, I have an entire textbook flipping course that will run you through how to actually make that, and it's linked there for just $15.99, which is a complete steal. $15.99 you can make, back by flipping one textbook, or literally flipping you might make $50 or $150 flipping one textbook. And I show you countless examples of books that I've flipped like that in the actual case study that, like I said, is linked for free down in the description. So hope that helps. I hope that helps kind of clarify your question. I get where it's coming from, and I get why people think that, but ultimately, no, I don't think it'll go away. And specifically with, the data and the fact that all my books kind of cleared out already, it doesn't look like that was the case, and it honestly looks like demand might even be slightly higher.